this computer.
I'll do a quick hello to the audience, whatever. I'll just do a quick hello.
I have a podcast, Mick. We just haven't had an episode in a year,
No,
all right?
I said that. I'm saying you haven't released it in a while.
Me and my girlfriend have not broken up, right? We're on a break. She's going to come back.
And we're live, guys.
All right.
We're live. Let's start.
First podcast together, lads. I'm very excited about this. Even though we've done our own podcasts as guests and stuff, it's nice to have one with all three of us just to shoot the shit. So, Mick, Dan, and Rooney. I'm only saying it as I see it in the screen. I'm not going by order of importance.
Number in your 3 head, on your screens and number 1 in your hearts. Dennis Rooney.
We felt the three of us have 3 very unsuccessful podcasts, so therefore we should team up and make one big unsuccessful podcast.
One super unsuccessful one.
Also, in an industry that's dominated by diversity, we said, who can we team up with to diversify our portfolio?
Yeah.
Right. Is more white guys.
Two Irish Americans were like, let's get a regular Irish.
Yeah. So that way when we say, oh, yeah, we're Irish, Mick can't say anything because now he's an American. So he has
Yeah. Like, you can't freak. Like, that was one of those things I freaked out. I posted online this week when I challenged. Me and Dan were talking about it last night, Rooney. We did that show that we do.
How did that go? That's right.
Yeah, it was a fun show, man. Really, I mean, the audience got chatty towards the end.
3 people died. It was a hell of a show.
Yeah. But they got chatty. They were a bit chatty, but it was a Friday night, and we don't normally do it there on a Friday night, so it was a different type of audience.
Right. Everything's different now. It's like the parameters that you judge a show are different. The parameters in which you take on a podcast endeavor are different.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah. We're all settling.
I think I've asked you this before, but did you guys do any Zoom shows over this, or?
Oh, yeah.
See, I didn't. This is like my second time on Zoom ever, and it's
but this is not really a show. You know what I mean? You're not doing stand-up. We're not expecting you to be funny.
So I was at the mall earlier.
I already have 2 names for the podcast, potential names. I'm going to keep bringing them all throughout the episode. 1, the Almost Irish podcast.
Yeah, yep.
2, Passive Aggressive with Mick Thomas and Friends.
That one's probably the closest.
Oh, I don't want my name in the title because I have my own podcast.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. No one's listening to this one either.
When you proposed the idea of the podcast, I was like, the big selling point was you said you don't have to do any work. Just log in, talk for a while online. And I was like, all right, I could do that.
Yeah, I do. Go on.
I've been asked to do some other podcasts, and everyone's been a no because I'm like, I couldn't make my own impassioned podcast run fluidly. You know what I mean? Not that we're done with. We're in therapy.
Right.
Yeah. This is. I think it's funny if the 3 of us just had our own topics, but they were based on our own podcast. Like in the middle of this, you just start talking about Netflix book club, and then Mick just says like, "I hate my family," and then I just talk about wrestling because I've got nothing else going on. That's probably the most successful formula for this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to stay away from what my podcast is, because that's where I try, these are my topics and see if I can find jokes in there. I'm not going to bring that gold over here to you, weasels.
We're a bunch of joke thieves in this.
Can you use your podcast as an excuse with your family where it's like as good as therapy? Where it's like, I need to go and talk some stuff out.
Yeah, it depends.
It's like, no.
Like, I get angry at a lot of shit, but by the time I record it, I've calmed down a lot, which I should go right down and start doing it. Or maybe I might do like a 2-minute video of me just ranting.
Yeah, I think if you do that, you'll be very famous.
Face or something, videoing it from the side.
Yeah.
There's a third angle.
Yeah, this is good content.
But it's like, right, the other day I'm walking because I live near a school, right? So the other day I'm walking up to get a drink. Yeah, that's weird, right? I'm walking up to get a sponsor of the show. I'm walking up to get a Red Bull, and there's a traffic warden there. What do you call him? Like the crossing guard over here? Is that what you call him?
Yeah.
What do you call them?
Cunts, we call them. you have a respectful name for it. But I was walking up.
In charge of the street, whoever the cunt queen street queen.
Yeah, but I'm walking up and I got to cross the street. And because it's a school, I press the button and the guy goes, wait. You know, I wait for the green man or the little white man to pop up. Whoa. And she comes running down and she's like, what are you doing? She goes, I got to walk across the street with you. I'm like, I'm 43 years of age. Like, do you know the humiliation of just walking across the street with all these like pickup trucks and like real men waiting to go to work and you're just off to get a Red Bull?
Well, here's the thing. If it was the three of us in that exact situation, right? Mick, you're going to be like, oh, come on, I'm 43. You don't have to walk me across the street. Rooney would like talk down to them while making them feel important about their job in the same breath. Like, and this sort of like, oh, is this your job, is to walk me across the street? Like, whereas I would grab their hand and I would walk across with them.
Oh, you would skip across. Thank you, miss.
I'd be like, I'll race you and I'll just start running.
I think I might have reacted that way back in like January, February, but now I'd be walking with them and be like, this is a pretty good gig. Do you have like an application on you? Like I can walk across the street. I think I can do that. You could show me a few times, but eventually I'll catch on.
I don't need a training session to walk. I've gotten a couple of those.
That would be best. Like,
go ahead.
If she's walking you across, she runs over to you and you look across the street and there's like a bunch of 12-year-olds just like fucking around in the street. She's like, no, I saw you and I knew you needed a hand with this.
Yeah.
You were breathing heavy. I wanted to make sure you'd make it across.
No, but I bet when you go for that job, I bet the training is really intense, right? Like
it's a civil service job. You have to take a test.
Oh, is that civil service for that job? I thought that would be something like the school hires you independently.
Oh, that's a county.
You know how they show cops in training those like the worst possible outcomes of pulling someone over and stuff, like turning around from the car, getting shot in the back. What do they show? The crossing wardens that you call them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Danger.
You got some kid and you're walking him across the street and some car just sideswipes the one kid. It's like you were standing on the wrong side.
Yeah, that is like I bet it's don't touch the kids. What? I bet it's a whole day of don't touch the kids. Yeah, but what if they don't touch the kids?
Friendly. You're gonna get pretty close to some of these kids, and you might think, but no, you never.
Yeah, I think there's like prerequisites, right? Like you have to be able to sit in your car in the cold and then get out begrudgingly when someone pushes the button. Like there's like certain things you have to do in order to become a crossing guard. It's like you have to have a weird smell to you that nobody really can put their finger on. Like there's like certain things. There's a checklist that you have to go down.
And you gotta be hating people when you see them walk up. You're like, oh, please go straight. Please go straight. Yeah,
don't cross this fucking street. I'm so comfortable.
When I was a kid, when I was going to elementary school, I was walking. I would have to go in early for like band on certain days. You know.
What instrument?
Trombone.
Whoa.
That's big dick energy. Big dick energy.
I was good at it. I was in jazz band. I was second chair, even though they didn't really call it that.
But is the trombone the one with the three things you press?
No, that's what I thought I was getting, and then they gave me the thing, and I was like, this is not a this thing. This is a this thing.
How hard is that to play? Be honest.
I like how we're on a podcast.
It's like a whistle slide.
How hard is it to play trombone?
It's like a whistle slide.
Well, there's certain.
When you find out you don't just blow into it, that you gotta like. That's how you play a brass instrument. Is you like fart with your mouth into
you spit into it.
Yeah,
that's why there's like a spit catch, right? There's like a spit thing.
Fucking disgusting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'd have to release the spit. It would get kind of gross sometimes. You know what I mean?
It was probably gross the first second you used it. It sounds disgusting.
How do you sanitize one of those fully? You know what I mean? Like I know you can wipe down the mouthpiece or whatever.
Use it once and then throw it away and get another one because no one's touching that.
Own universe of spit from year after year, generation after generation. All these failed musicians.
My brother played the bass, so he had that giant. Like he was like, "I'm gonna play the bass," and then it was like, "Oh no! You thought you were playing like corn slap bass? No! You're playing the fucking 7-foot tall bass."
Yeah, my son plays the cello, and it's the same thing. I have to carry that shit around.
Does it have a wheel? Do you have the cart with the wheel on the bottom, or is it one of those ones you just lug?
Big, like I mean, his is a kid size, so it's not that bad. I remember. Go ahead, Rooney. What were you gonna say?
No, I thought you said you used to play cello, and my whole imagination exploded.
No. I'm not classy enough to pull off
Mick's
cello.
all about appearance. He'd be playing drums, and you know it.
Yeah, drums and air guitar.
Yeah, I'm in a band, but I play the drums. That's weird.
But there's some instruments, though. I remember I went to the ballet once, years upon years ago, and I actually, I mean, on a side note, what's his name? Robert Duvall told me to shut up because I snuck in a Subway sandwich. I was making noise unraveling it, and I turned around. And he's like, "Kid, shut up." I'm like,
he wasn't even in the ballet. He just ran in the building. He's like,
but I
this
noticed.
guy looks like he needs to shut the fuck up.
I would look down into the orchestra and just see like this giant harp. And I was like, who fucking wants to play that? Like, where do you go to the harp store and buy one and lug that around to lessons?
You have to be born in like Narnia to have an interest in the harp. You know what I mean? Like who grows up with a giant harp in their house? Maybe a piano tops, but like a giant harp. That means you're an elf and your mom's a fairy.
Yeah, I think if you have a harp in your house, it's because your mom's like, listen, we come from a generation of harp players, and you are not falling out of line. I don't care about your aspirations to join a band. You guys are playing the fucking harp. Sit your ass down next to this giant piano with just the strings, and you fucking play it. That's the beauty of it.
You know, instead of making 1,200 strings of various lengths, you can take like 7 strings or 6 strings and just pressure along a board and pretty much get the same thing.
Yeah, and then get laid as a result of playing it.
Can you imagine the harp was the instrument of the battlefield? Like,
line up on. They're playing their horn. They go, look at this loser.
but it's like I can't. I'll try and make it with this, but like, you know, the Civil War, like. Right?
That's not what Civil War is.
I don't know, but whatever. You know what I mean? Just like he gets shot. The next guy picks it up and he goes.
And Mick dancing around the harp player with the straw as they play it, and he's like. And then Mick would do the Bono thing. I was listening to Sunday Bloody Sunday earlier. The song, Bono just comes. He just has an orgasm. He goes,
Yeah, Bono's a bit of a wanker with that kind of stuff. He really is.
Well, there's one thing though. That's what the South Park episode was about. Like, he's so great as a person, but also he's such a piece of shit because he loves himself.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw it the other day, actually.
There's something about that where you're like, yeah, like, it's one thing to like try and take care of starving children. It's another thing to like advertise that's all you're about. Like, it's a very odd, like,
it's
pat
like
my back.
the edge. It's like a weird look.
Well, they're in. Do you watch Big Mouth on Netflix?
I do.
They appear in the new season real quick at a pool party. It's really funny to make fun of them like that. It's fucking really funny. If you don't watch Big Mouth, you should watch Big Mouth, Rooney.
It's tired of people suggesting comedies to me.
Yeah, no, but this is really dark.
I'm funny enough. I'm funny in my head all day long. I need I need other stuff.
I want to watch Rosemary's Baby.
I need drama. I need passion. All I watch is porn and horror movies. That's it. Just to get my other emotions in level.
Porn and horror movies? What's the last horror movie you watched?
The last one I watched?
Yeah.
Oh, you put me on the spot. I don't know.
I watched Mandy. That was the last one I watched.
How was that? I watched the first 15 minutes, and then I was like, maybe I'll come back to this.
It's a very, like, you have to anticipate that Mandy is just going to be a movie that you're not really going to like initially, and then as you watch on, you just start laughing, and then that's what you've ever seen. There's a scene where, if you guys have time, just Google Cheddar Goblin and just watch a YouTube video. And it's the best goddamn thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It's a random commercial in the middle of this movie.
Really?
Where it's so good. Like, I can't do it justice. But
there's a big commercial in the middle of Mandy?
You'll see. You have to watch the movie.
I should go back and watch it.
You have watch it. Watch it to the end and watch Nicolas Cage.
I gotta take like a tiny amount of mushrooms and watch it.
What's that?
I gotta take like a tiny amount of mushrooms and watch it.
Yeah, no, actually, you know what? I don't even disagree with that. I think microdose some mushrooms and then watch Mandy. But then don't go outside.
Why? Oh, for the mushrooms. But the last horror I watched was the train to Busan. It's a place in Korea. I'm pronouncing it wrong.
You know.
But it's a zombie movie about these people that get on a train to Busan.
I've heard about this. Yes.
And
okay.
It's fucking great, man. It's probably one of the best. It's subtitled because I'm sure some of the listeners out there are like, I ain't reading, but it's fucking really good. It is.
You watch it. at 0.25x speed, so that way you can actually read along because you're inept in some ways.
No, I watched it on the Fire Stick, so whichever version they give me for free.
Mick watches it with the audio description on. You ever listen to that feature of film?
Yeah. It's for
Johnny
the blind.
sits down and looks vacantly out the window.
Do you know on the yeah, I know.
I think my favorite is when you see like when you're watching a TV show and it's just like you have subtitles on, like maybe you're at a doctor's office.
Yeah.
They're obviously for hearing impaired or deaf people, and it just says like jazz music playing. And it's like they don't fucking know. Like,
that make a difference. Yeah, like if you see a sex scene, you go like hardcore death metal plays. Like, why the fuck does that matter? Like,
yeah, no one. I mean, if I could hear and I was reading that and I didn't hear the audio, and I was like, oh, why would they play that there? I feel like this would be a perfect moment for some smooth trombone from Dennis Rooney.
Would you rather be born deaf? Would you rather be born deaf or lose your hearing?
Born deaf.
Born deaf.
100%.
Yeah. Well, when do I lose my hearing though? Like I'm like 2 days before I die.
Born deaf, you read jazz plays and you're just like, I wonder what jazz is like. Whereas if you go deaf, you're like, I remember jazz.
But jazz is one of those music you're like, fuck it, I don't give a shit.
I don't care if I hear it anyway.
I don't give a crap. I hate jazz.
But that's what there's people who are blind who have gone blind, and they go like, I have a vivid image of a panther. He's like, but I don't know if it's an actual panther or if I've just morphed it into something else. So even if you remember, what's that?
Or if it's a table.
Yeah, I have a great image of a panther. It was in my living room. It had 4 legs. It was
my coffee cup sits on top of my panther in my living room.
That's amazing.
I was like, what a fucking idiot. And then it's like flashback, and he actually is a panther. There's a cup holder on.
But I know what you're saying because memory is so unreliable and memory morphs so easily over time that you now take away a point of reference such as vision, and your ideas of what things look like before are obviously, who knows? Yeah,
it could be anything at that point.
Yeah.
Why did this become existential? I want to let's go back.
That's what this podcast is, guys. It's toilet humor and it's real deep thoughts.
3 white guys rambling incoherently for 45 minutes. That's the point of this.
Why are you embarrassed that you're white though? Why do you keep bringing that up? Like why?
Oh, I knew there was.
Here comes right-wing Mick.
It's like holy shit, dude! I follow accent. Like I don't know how TikTok works really, but I started. I guess whatever you like. Now all of a sudden TikTok thinks I'm the most racist fucking guy.
Notices Mick.
Chauvinistically. And I go, hey Mick, I know you don't like women, but check out these bitches. And all of a sudden there's these girls like complaining about, you know what men do wrong? And it's just me now screaming at my phone.
I mean, the fact that you scream at your phone.
Mick is being recruited by the right wing. Slowly through TikTok and other social media.
Mick's a half a step from Proud Boy, and he's
episode 2. Mick's got an upside down American flag as his background.
Well, there's certain topics that you can't really like vent any frustration about. Like you have to be all in, or you're a bad person. Like me and Dan were talking about this about, is it the Queen's Gambit or the Queen's Gauntlet?
Gambit.
We talked about this last night. I was like, fucking, why are we still making those shows where women are great? Look, we can play chess.
Oh, stop. It was more than that. It was a great period piece. It was about friendship. It was about being an independent young woman. It wasn't just like women can play.
It was about addiction. It was about mental issues.
Of that for sure.
The backdrop was, look at, I'm a woman and I can play chess. You couldn't make that show set it in 20. Like you could set that show about racism, right? You could like do a show about racism today.
There was racism in the show.
No, but yeah, I know. But I'm not talking about that show. I'm talking about like if you made a TV show now about racism, you could go like, yeah, that does happen today. But if you made a show set in August of 2020 and like, well, this girl, she plays chess and she's a girl. People like, get the fuck out of my office with your pitch. I don't want to watch a fucking woman play chess in 2020. Women have all the rights, if not more.
Everything you're saying. Like, no one wants to watch. This show went gangbusters. Like, what are you talking about?
No, it's a good show, but why are we still making them? That's my point.
What, like
money?
Yeah, but like you're not changing. Like, oh, look at what this shit women had to go through. They couldn't play chess. Jesus.
But if you think this movie was about like showing how women can play chess, or this series is about showing how women can play chess, you didn't watch it. Like that's all that means. Because chess is literally like 5% of what this movie's about.
It's more than man. It's the backdrop. It's what it is.
No. The backdrop's the timepiece.
It's like Rocky. You can't say Rocky. Oh, it's not a box. It's about how dumb he is and he meets his girl. It's a boxing movie. But this is a chess show. It's a chess show.
It's a movie about overcoming adversity.
Right? Exactly. In the 20s.
To say like there's no need for the show. First of all, there's no need for any show. It's fucking entertainment. You know what I mean? Like there's no need for it. It's like I don't know. I love Queen's Gambit. I love Queen's Gambit. But there were, I love how people, even something like that though, Mick, how you're saying like it's almost like woke for the sake of woke and why do we need it, which I disagree with. But people still came at the show. These woke feminists came at the show and they were like, they memed a picture of her, the character, Elizabeth Harmon, like in her underwear smoking and drinking wine out of a bottle. And they were like, this is how a man depicts a woman at her lowest point. Like, then they don't know women. It's like, guys, can you just enjoy the fucking show? Like, you gotta, every piece of it has to be perfect to what your idea of the world and universal situation is. Like, not everything has to speak on everything that's happening today.
Well, Anne Hathaway, or Hathaway, if I'm to pronounce my TH.
Hathaway.
She apologized publicly for the Roald Dahl movie that she made that just came out, Witches, because she has 3 fingers in it, right? And she apologized to people who had deformities.
Mick's gonna get that picture cut out and be like, Mick Thomas claims gang signs. Like, no, I was talking about the witches with Adam.
Yeah. I'm getting you guys all canceled on this. I just want to point that out. That's the whole point.
I'm sorry, Mick, I kind of got too excited about that. But they came at her why? Because what, deformed people?
The character, Anne Hathaway, she apologized. Now I can't talk, you racist cunts. So she apologized. Nobody asked her to. Like HBO never got on the phone and go, listen, Anne, there's some people out there, they're not writing letters because they've only got 3 fingers, but he's like, listen,
not helping your cause, Mick.
Probably not texting unless it's the thumbs, but and so Anne says, you know what? I feel like this movie is not fair to people who are deformed in some way. Like, I should apologize that if my movie offended them, when nobody fucking complained about it.
Well, you didn't hear anybody complain about it. Doesn't mean nobody
did. All right, is there enough people that, like, if one person complained about this show, which I'm sure there's going to be more, would we make a public apology for that one person? No, you go fuck yourself. This is what we do. There's no hate. This is all love. We try to find jokes and shit. We're not gonna explain ourselves to this one fucking idiot. Goes, I didn't like what you said about the Gambit thing.
Right, but it's different. We have different.
And we're not Anne Hathaway, though.
Yeah, we're not in that. You're like, I wouldn't have done that. You also aren't Anne Hathaway. Let
me compare me versus Anne Hathaway, and this is true. Anne Hathaway probably woke up with like a voicemail from her agent and was like, listen, there's a small complaint on Twitter. It's only got a couple hundred retweets, but in case it gains traction, why don't you put something out today? Get ahead of this, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, one of the last shows I did, I posted on Facebook that I'm at the so-and-so club tonight. I'll be talking about X, Y, Z, and the police. Not the band, like cops.
Oh, okay.
And I got a voicemail from my mom being like, I hope you're not saying anything derogatory about officers of the law. So it's very different worlds, me and Anne Hathaway, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless your mom is Anne Hathaway's agent, which
you're supposed to be an artist.
Like, listen.
Right? You're supposed to be an artist. That's the point. Like, you shouldn't apologize for like, look at fucking Banksy doesn't apologize for people waking up in the morning and all of a sudden there's garbage everywhere. Right? You never see Banksy like tweet, go, hi, I'm sorry I left that balloons that says my name on it or whatever. So artists, that's my point.
Right, but no. Like
artists,
people can get offended. I think it's up to you to decide if you were willing to like say to somebody like, I understand why you're offended and I'm sorry that you're offended. Like, I didn't mean to offend you. I can understand.
That's the trick, right? That's the trick I do in any relationship I've ever been in. I've said this before. Like, I always apologize for them feeling that way. I never apologize for what I did. And 9 out of 10 times they go, he apologized, because women are like that, right? They just hear the word "I'm sorry," and then it's like they're happy with it. And I go, I don't give a fuck.
This hole.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. But you say something, and they go like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Then I might say like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You got upset over that." That's it. Like,
look, here's the thing.
If I get to save face, she feels like she got a piece. Everyone
wins. Win-win.
Men win.
Win-win.
We don't have enough victories. That's the truth. We could really put upon men. We've never had it. Oh boy. No, I think I'm scratching my back. I have a back scratcher because it's the best fucking gift I've ever gotten in my life, and I've just been using
Mick,
it.
where are you right now? What wall is that?
This is my new studio in my basement.
That's a studio wall.
Yeah.
Me and Dennis do not have studios. We have rooms in our place.
I got a corner.
You have a support beam
right next to me.
Is there? I'm looking at it. So Dennis has like a giant pole next to his head, which is obviously a support beam for the higher floors, right?
Right.
I'm assuming you're in a basement.
Me? Yeah. Oh, Rooney or me? Rooney. Yeah.
So what's concerning me is why I didn't bring the wall to the pole. They have that little gap that no one can fit through.
This basement, first of all, I love it. It's my home. But whoever designed the construction of it, I don't know what they were doing.
I don't think they do.
Is that an optical illusion though, Rooney? Can you like walk through that between there?
I could walk through it sideways.
Okay, because it's like the wall.
Slowly.
Remember Labyrinth where Jennifer Connelly is running and the little worm tells her just walk forward, and she's like, but it's a wall. And then when she walks in, she realizes depth perception. So that's what it looks like from here.
That's how we discovered depth perception.
It was Labyrinth.
We didn't have depth perception before Labyrinth.
Yeah. And once you saw David Bowie's dick, and you're like, well, that's a lot closer than it should be.
They don't show his dick, do they?
Yeah.
No, it's
I never watched
in there.
I never seen it.
Yeah, his hog is in there.
It looks like if you were to take your own face and put stockings over it, like it wouldn't be in the perfect shape of what it was supposed to be, but you see what it is.
Bowie definitely pushed for that too. You know that like Jim Henson wasn't like, make sure he's got a big old hog poking out. Bowie got the costume that day, and he was like,
Jim was dead then. His son directed that.
Oh yeah, that's a Brian Henson. Right?
Brian Henson.
Brian Henson was like, we could use more of
reality.
Why is that?
Way to ruin my bad joke with logic and reality.
I think it'd be great if Bowie was like, you know what, we should make into a Muppet. And he's like, not your dick. Again, David, I'm not doing it.
He's like, think about the merchandising.
Just
that was his pickup line too to groupies. Hey, you want to go see my Muppet?
Yeah, I got a Muppet. It's like, wow.
Didn't Bowie have a short period of time where he was like wearing a Nazi uniform on stage?
No, what fucking records are you listening to?
Well, that was the big Christmas song, right?
Jamie, will you? No, I'm almost positive there is. That there's like pictures out there of Bowie performing in like Nazi uniforms.
Really?
Are you looking that up, Dan, or are you just looking off
I'm
the side?
looking it up because I'm the new Jamie.
Yeah, you're Jamie for now.
I don't think he's wearing a Nazi uniform. He's wearing like a black trench coat. Like he.
Oh, that's more the Boond. That's not a Nazi. That's more the Boond would wear that.
What's the Boond?
The Boond were a group I heard.
This was
people who would enforce Nazi law, and they would go from house to house wanting to see our papers.
Are you saying that there's a difference between these men and Nazis?
Well, yeah, one of them was official.
Yeah. Like right now we're considered Nazis because we said things that people might get sad about. So
no
we're
one
Nazis.
considers me a Nazi.
Yeah, don't lump me into you.
Have you seen?
Actually, I got news for you. We're Nazis.
Have you seen Jojo Rabbit?
No.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
One of the funniest movies you'll ever see. So that's all about the Nazis. But
Rudy, I'm not Mick Thomas. I'm telling you, it's actually a very good movie.
I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's fine. But
the Boond is they're in that. They're another group that are like they would hunt down Jewish people and stuff, and they would find some people would hide Jewish people in their house, and their job was to kind of smoke them out, I guess. But it's a fucking one. The guy playing Hitler is hysterical.
Did they utilize like Marco Polo rules when they would go into the house?
No, they did like Roger Rabbit.
What's that?
Oh, you shave and a haircut, and then you just come fucking shoot.
That's how we got them.
Are we comparing Roger Rabbit to the Nazis? Yes, we are.
Listen.
David Bowie was a Nazi. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. All right.
That's what we need to know. Let me share. I'll share.
Daydream is actually about Auschwitz.
You what?
I said Moon Age Daydream. Oh, what happened? Oh, you can
wow.
do it. Oh.
Yeah, that's the Boond. That's not legit. That's, if anything, that's super Nazi. But you could see, like, you could easily Photoshop a swastika on that arm, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
I could have sworn, no, I wouldn't even call that jacket. That's just like German fashion, even in like the 80s, I'd say.
Yeah, this is Berlin 1970s.
Oh, good call, Rooney. Good call. But even that car just says, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but that's a car that would chase Rocky when he was trying to train against Ivan Drago. It's an old Mercedes.
I ran in the snow today, and I was thinking of Rocky 4, and I nearly died. It was the dumbest idea I ever made. Was to try to run in the snow this morning. Huh?
Did you play the song, or did you just run?
No, I was just listening to a podcast.
That's it. That's your problem. You got to listen to some fucking epic monologue.
You got to listen to the song. Do you want to build a snowman?
Yeah. Time to play some amazing tunes to run to.
No, I started off, like, I should have started off earlier because the snow was frozen over, so I could kind of, but then as the sun went up a little bit, I just kind of started turning back into mush again. I was like, oh, shit.
Can we agree that Rocky 4 is a piece of shit movie?
Isn't it? Isn't.
I hated it. I hated it. So bad.
Why? What did you hate about it?
You know how, like, I like movies?
Not that one.
This movie was literally just like, what we gotta do? We got Rocky beat Russia and convince them to become American. It's like, that's all it was.
But now, did you hate Rocky, like, looking back at it, or when that came out, were you like, because when you
I didn't like it when it came out. Like, obviously, like, as a kid, like, you get amped up to the music videos that are in the middle of it.
Right.
But then as, like, I understood the movie, I was like, I don't care if I watch this movie ever again. And then as I watched as I was older, I was like, oh, this movie was just made for these shitty music videos and to show Rocky beating up Ivan Drago, who, of course, had to start doing steroids while Rocky was clean. And meanwhile, Rocky was gassed to the gills and he was literally stretching out of his own skin. It's like,
And I remember as a kid when that came out, you would argue, because back then, like, I was like really kind of coming up in fighting and stuff. So you really, like, I was more of a Van Damme fan than I was a Stallone fan with that kind of stuff. And you would sit there and your friends would debate, like, oh, dude, you can't beat nature. You can. I'm like, now that I'm a grown man, I go, yeah, you can. You can easily beat nature.
Yeah. Any of those machines would help you pick up better than picking up a log. That's the way.
But did you ever go back and watch something like, see that these movies, like, someone told me, because I love Christmas movies, right? Someone told me to go watch Prancer. I've never seen that movie, right? And she was like, you're gonna love it. It's a great movie. And I think when I watch it, I go, this is the biggest piece of shit ever, because I think it comes with she liked it because of nostalgia, right? But, like, when you go back and watch, like, I watched the other day Die Hard.
Okay.
Greatest crock of shit. When you go back and rewatch a movie, it's awful. That's why I asked you about the Rocky. Did you watch it? And
Well, I think if you're comparing, the thing about it is, and hopefully Rooney joins back because he just disappeared. The thing about any of those movies, though, is that you're watching like a Die Hard and you compare it against what you've seen recently, where you've seen much better versions of Die Hard. So you go, Die Hard sucks because I've seen the better versions of that movie. But my thing is, you go, well, that's the originator, right? Like, it's not going to be as good comparatively, but if you realize it's like a first of its genre style movie, that makes it, to me, I go, oh, okay, I like it for that. This movie, Rocky IV, was the fourth of a very formulaic series of movies. And my problem with it was that there was no substance to it aside from Rocky beats the Russians. Like, there's nothing. The insurmountable odd is Apollo Creed gets killed. That's it. And it's like, we need to kill Apollo Creed so that Rocky has a reason to fight. It's like, you mean like you killed Mick in 3 when he fought Clubber Lang? Like, we're going to keep that going? Or like in 2 when his wife is dying of childbirth and she suddenly pulls through and that's what he has to fight for to get that win. And it's like, God, it's fucking same boring argument every single time.
Every boxing movie. Like, here's one thing I learned from fighting. There's no such thing as a villain. Like, I've never had to fight a villain. Like, I never fought anybody that killed someone.
Mick,
what?
You're the villain.
Yeah. Everyone on the other side's like, I fought this fucking villain.
Mick Thomas has been talking that smack.
My wife was playing chess and he knocked the board out of her hand.
Yeah. He's like, this isn't the 20s, and he hit her. I couldn't believe it.
Get that chess piece out of here, bitch.
That Oh boy. Is there a comedy movie that you even though you kind of think it's a shit movie that you defend aggressively? Because like we can defend like action movies or whatever movies all the time, because to me like Transformers is a dog shit movie, but as a popcorn movie it's a great movie. You just shove popcorn in your face and explode.
Yeah, any
is there
event.
a comedy?
Oh, comedies?
Comedy. Is there a comedy that does that for you?
I will defend, and it's in my top 5 comedies, is Daddy's Home. Like Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell. I don't know why. I find it hysterical.
You can't see this at home, but Rooney's face literally just turned into this motherfucker.
I was gonna.
Go ahead.
Wait, who can't see this at home?
People, if we put this on a podcast.
Yeah, but
I'm not. Are we doing video? We're not doing video.
Yeah, they'll click over the video.
We're gonna do both, champ.
We're gonna do both.
So then why can't they see me?
Well, because if you're on just a regular podcast, you're not going to see the video.
Oh, okay.
This is why Netflix Book Club didn't take off, Rooney.
I don't know.
Rooney's like, look at this picture I have. Anyway,
I'm
next topic.
Don't tell me I'm not on a picture. I'm picturized. No, I was trying to figure out if that was the one with Mel Gibson or not.
Yeah, that's part 2. I watched that yesterday.
Yeah.
That's another one that, like, it's. I watched it because it was a Christmas movie. I consider that a Christmas movie.
You heard it here first, folks.
I was trying to think of some angle where I could make an anti-Semite based on liking a Mel Gibson movie, but
you know what? That was his first movie after his rant. Why?
No, the beaver. The beaver.
When they come back,
there's a movie where he's like has a stuffed beaver that he talks with that came out before that, and it was Jodie Foster directed it.
I think he's a good example of someone where it's like he's probably. Like there's so many instances and people saying that like he's a hard anti-Semite, but like most of the productions that he's a part of are really good.
Yeah. Again, it's South Park, but it's he's a great narrative storyteller. He's batshit crazy though. He is a fucking nut job.
Do you know where his obsession with, like, if you watch all his violent show, the stuff he directs, right? Like The Passion of the Christ and Braveheart and all that torture. You know where that comes from? He was 10 years old, walking home from school, and he got jumped by 3 guys in Australia. And they beat the shit out of him, and he ran to a church, and he hid in the church. So the priest came out, and the priest was saying to him...
beating the shit out of him.
Get out of here, you anti-Semite.
The priest was saying, who beat you, the Jews? No, the priest said to him, he's like, look, this is what Jesus went through. Like, people, you look at pictures of Jesus on the cross, right? And he's just like... Right, like,
is that what he's like? No, what's he like again? Mick just made a face like he was laying down like a puppy.
Right?
Yeah. Mick made I'm laying like a puppy face, like when puppies are flat in their back.
Like Jesus walked in on his surprise party. Oh, guys!
I didn't know it was my birthday.
But anyway, so
Merry Christmas.
The priest said to Gibson that, like, look, Jesus would have got the shit kicked out of him. Like, it wasn't just nail him, hang him up. Like, they would have beat the living. And so that made him, like, process that, like, to the barbaric times that they were, if they happened, were, like, you know what I mean? And that's where he kept that with him, that he said, like, when you do timepieces, that people were not nice people. Like, they make timepieces, like, based on the violence of what it would be like today, when really it wasn't even close to that. So that's where he kind of went on that whole...
And that's why you like Daddy's Home as a movie. That's where that started, by the way. It started at what your favorite comedy that you'll defend is.
Mel Gibson getting the shit kicked out of him outside of a church. 40 years later, we get the masterpiece, which is number 2.
Yeah. Had he not gone through those struggles, he wouldn't be able to deliver us I ruined it.
So, what's your comedy movie do you defend?
Me?
Yeah.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Coming after Ace Ventura is not funny, though, or good.
It is not. If you
look back on it, man, it's bad.
It's
1 or 2.
Bad. 2 is better. I think Ace Ventura 2 is a better movie than Ace Ventura 1, and I'll fight people over that. Ace Ventura is a way better movie. Ace Ventura 1 is like the original that I still love, even though it's really not a good movie. It's really good.
My go-to defend, and it's not that I hear people shit on it. It's just that I just feel like it doesn't get nearly as much credit as it deserves. Airheads.
That's a good one.
I don't remember it well enough.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. The movie's fucking hilarious. Chris Farley's in it.
Yeah. That's a good choice because it's one of those ones that you forget was good and you remember watching it like HBO at 4:00 in the afternoon after school one day because that's when it was on all the time. It was never under prime time.
CB4 is another one.
That's a great movie.
That's a fucking funny movie.
Don't Be a Menace to South Central or Drinking the Juice in the Hood is another phenomenal movie. It's one of my favorites.
My first comedy movie I ever saw that made me laugh out loud, to the point where it's like I couldn't breathe. It's like I didn't know that this existed, right? This type of humor existed. And that was Mel Brooks' History of the World.
That's a great movie. Part
1. There's no part. These call it part 1. There's no part 2, but it's fucking I watched it the other day and it still got me at a lot of good points.
Young Frankenstein holds up. Spaceballs does not hold up anymore. But Young Frankenstein,
dog shit.
Spaceballs is good when you're a teenager, though. You know? What I mean?
When you're a teenager, it's hilarious. But now, Young Frankenstein, I think, is like basically where Mel Brooks was like the best, and then he was like, okay, now we're gonna taper off a little bit. Dracula Dead and Loving It came out after Spaceballs, and that's how you know you don't even know what that movie is.
But what do you base a good comedy on, though? Is it how many times you laughed? Is it clever? Is it like, because for me, my favorite comedy, like when I put it on, I remember I went to see it 3 times in the movie theaters, right? Because
Daddy's Home too, we get it, bro.
We get your obsession with Daddy's Home.
No, but
back.
But I remember I laughed so much that I was laughing over more punchlines. So I had to go back and rewatch it, and that was This Is the End.
This Is the End was very funny. Yeah, I didn't expect that to be as good as it was.
I liked Hangover, but I liked Hangover once. You know what I mean? Like
I recently watched all 3 of those again. They're great. They're fucking great.
I like them. Like I like This Is the End. I thought This Is the End was very funny, but
a
rewatch is not gonna be as funny to me.
Oh man, Danny McBride and that it's just from start to finish. It's fucking so many throwaway lines. Franco's face on and there's so many things you miss the first few times on that. It's just great.
Rooney, what's your comedy?
Airheads.
That's right. You said that. I'm sorry. So we have.
I'll be back in 1 second. You keep going.
Oh, we're gonna miss you. Oh, fuck! Thank God he's gone. Oh,
I had to go. You know why I had to go?
Shit.
Where I had to. No. I rejected a phone call 3. Someone calls you 3 times in a row. You're like, who's dead, right? Like, don't you immediately panic? Like 3 times in a row, like bam, bam, bam. It's my mom. Are you coming over today?
Yeah. I don't remember.
I'm like, no, I didn't plan on it. Oh, okay. All right. See you later.
I've gotten that. My mom has asked if I'm bringing over chicken parm because I'm supposed to stop by later. I'm going to bring back chicken parm. You bringing over chicken parm? Well, yeah. I said I was bringing chicken parm. Yeah, but you got it already? No, because then it'll just be cold when I deliver it. I'm going to get it right before I get there. Oh.
He's like, you only feed me once a week, Dan. I just want to make sure I'm locked in for this chicken parm. Right?
Yeah. Look, you get 1 tray of chicken parm a week, Mom. Get back in your cell.
Do you have any culinary training? Because I see you. I know you're on that cooking tip. And
I've always liked cooking. Let me correct myself. When I went to college, I liked cooking. In high school, I didn't give a shit. College, I moved into a house off campus, and I was like, I'm not going to eat fast food all the time. I just can't. So then I tried to teach myself how to cook. And the way I taught myself how to cook was cook chicken until it's cooked all the way through, eat it. Then the next time you cook chicken, season it, and then eat it. And then get to a point where you can start to understand like why I'm doing what I'm doing. So then I started taking these like I buy these like recipe kits to try and figure out like how to make a good meal. And then I spend a lot of time figuring out the way to make it aesthetically pleasing. I worked in restaurants my whole life. So now when I plate food, if I know I'm going to put a picture of it online, I plate it as if I know I'm putting a picture of it online.
So you don't always plate it so nicely, just if you're like, oh, this is picture worthy.
That's exactly it. Most of the time my food it's delicious. I'm a decent cook. It's not like photographable. It's like, oh yeah, here's a lump of food. And it's like, but it's delicious. But sometimes I'll be like, look, I can make a bed of sweet potato mash. I can put my crusted chicken on top. And then I'll take the green beans and I'll make like a teepee around it. And then I'll serve it with a maple glaze. And I'm done. and it seems like it's so much more work than it is. It took me a half hour to cook, prep, and eat it.
Not bad. I've been.
Not bad deal.
I got a hot plate now in my basement apartment. So I got a hot plate, I got a microwave, I got a air fryer, but my mini, what do they call it, toaster oven just shit the bed, which was like, I can do a lot of cooking with all those things combined, but once one of them drops off, my options become a lot more.
Nah, you actually have a pretty good spot. So, righty, you have the hot plate, so you can cook chicken on a hot plate, right? You've cooked chicken on a hot plate?
I mean, like a frying pan?
Yeah, your frying pan of your chicken. But you can saute your chicken, and then you can air fry any of your veggies, or you can air fry your starches, and then you can have that in there. And you can have a one plate, take your vegetables, throw it in with the chicken while it's cooking, and you cook your vegetables with the chicken, season at the same time. So you usually have two things you can only use. This is all boring shit. I'm really glad we made a podcast, guys.
Go away for one quick second to take a piss, and I come back.
It's like, how come we're not talking about right wing, left wing? We're talking about cooking now? What the fuck's going on?
Yeah. This has been a roller coaster of nothing.
How long have we been talking for?
45 minutes right now.
That's the stance I take, is I don't feel like any podcast should be much longer than like an hour.
Well, it's 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes right now, and I'm probably going to have to get off in a minute and go bring
not with us watching.
You can't stop me.
All right, so notes from our first episode. How did we do? What do we think?
We still don't have a title. We don't know what the hell we're calling this show.
I think
I'll work
Mick and the other two.
Yeah. You would think that.
No, it wouldn't. I don't want any name on it.
Well, why do we call us more expensive than therapy?
Yeah.
Michael Dennis. Michael Dennis. That's what we call it.
I like it. Listen, I'm reviewing it now so other people can hear us review it. So I like the fact that no topics. We started, and like I could go for another, but you can kind of tell when I came back in, the momentum had gone because you were talking about cooking on a hot plate. So I was like, all right, that's pretty much it now, guys. The end of the roller coaster is over. The best parts are gone. But I think the fact that we can just keep going, I'm happy with it. I'm quite happy to get this out every week to people.
I think we can call this the Mick Yells About Things podcast, and that would be nice.
I don't want my name in the title.
Mick down.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Michael Yells Things podcast.
I don't want anything to do. I don't want my name in it. I don't want, I think it's us. That's it.
How come I'm Dennis Rooney, there's Dan Barry, and then it says Thomas Mick 322?
Because I signed in, you know what?
No, it's because Mick is technologically inept, and he doesn't know how to change his own name on Zoom. So
he's got his own podcast studio. He can figure it. He'll get it next time.
Studio. That is that's one piece against a wall.
One wall.
That's all you need is a wall.
Well, I think it was an okay first episode. Maybe we reined in a little bit. I'll get better at not talking over people. And if this is all I have to do for an hour a week, I'm committed.
Right. So here's what I think. I think if I could be the person who's going to tell you our strategy for our podcast on the podcast, we can edit this and then upload it every Monday morning and just have it be the Monday morning podcast, and nothing else happens. We don't have to call it the Monday morning podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that name's taken.
Yeah. But we just have it go off in the mornings. What's that?
We could call it the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah. Ooh, my favorite murder.
Or the news.
Let's call it Prairie Home Companion, and we'll just put it online. It'll be really good.
How about the 3 new members of the Boond?
Nope. No.
All right.
No.
I'm too fat to be a Nazi. There weren't a lot of fat Nazis.
Not for long.
Yeah, I don't have the hair for it either, so I couldn't. It just looks like a lot of work. Looks like a lot of work.
I just wouldn't want to be a Nazi, guys. I don't know why we're comparing whether or not your reasons for not doing it have nothing to do with not hating Jews, guys. I just want to point that out. And I'm making myself a little concerned.
My heart's not in it.
I'm not committed to this job. It's just something to do before I start my own company.
Do you ever think, like, if their alarm goes off in the morning, like your alarm goes off, beep, 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 and you wake up, you're a Nazi, you just hit and you go, or do you think they go, spring up out of bed and go, yeehaw!
I would bet more. Most of them said yeehaw up until the Nuremberg trials. I will bet you $1,000.
I don't know, man. I saw a fucking disturbing video of these Nazis that were brought into a movie theater to watch footage of what they did at the end of the war. And like some of them were fucking as you should be, you rotten cunts. But
right.
Like, they were horrified. But you think like at the moment they're all like, this is awesome.
Yes. Oh,
there's
a reason. There's a point where people go like, yeah, this is just the way it is. And they're like, it's that mob mentality. Like everything's, it's not awful until you have to watch it back. It's a lot easier to stomach shooting somebody who believes in a different religion than you because like, oh, well, everyone's doing it. Who gives a shit? It's the fucking
I don't know, man. I think a part of that, even in the moment you got, because here's another thing too, like that when I watch all these like natural disaster movies or when aliens are coming down, I always think the best thing to do is be in the military because they're the first ones that know where all the secret bunkers are, right? It's always military go to these bunkers because nobody leaves the military behind. They're the ones setting up the guards. The common fat people are trying to get in. Oh, let us into the fucking ark or whatever. Like, no, you can't. So I think like even like these Nazis during that horrible time were like, fuck it, I might as well be east, over on this side as opposed to on that side. I honestly would go on a limb and say majority of them hated their job, hated what they did. Wow.
Because you're forgetting the actual mentality of people in the 40s and 30s where they actually hated Jewish people. So that's like a common thing. America hated Jewish people and we didn't want to go to the war because we didn't want to defend Jews. That's a whole thing that happened here.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. You can Google that. That's a very searchable. That we have this history of being like the good guys coming to defend, but like it's never really that. It's always like some level of it. Like Lincoln freed the slaves, yeah, but he wanted them to go to Mexico. Like there's a whole different world. It's not we're not really good guys. We're like the visible good guys. It's all about optics with America.
Nick, don't listen to this guy. Next thing he's going to tell you that Christopher Columbus was a monster.
Next episode, we talk about Christopher Columbus and Anthony DiDomenico cries. Guys, I think we can wrap up here. It's time.
Yeah.
Guys, I guess we'll see you next time we ever decide to do this.
Yeah, all right, lads. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll come back and we'll do it again. See you next week. Good luck to you.
I'll get the last word.